fascinating discussion. I'm just wondering, do you have a sense of who it is that is particularly against a UBI and why they're against it?
Yes, I do. In the United States, it is economic elites who profit from low-wage work. So it's a little bit oversimplifying, but essentially it's the North versus the South, right? And this has been true, really, in our entire history, right? The South was based on agriculture, and the North was based on manufacturing, finance, and so on, right? So the businesses in the North actually benefit from an educated, workforce, and an educated workforce that has the opportunity to move from firm to firm, because as we were saying earlier, that's part of the capitalist dynamic, right? If your employees are leaving your firm to go to other firms, that's sending you a market signal that is useful to you, right? And you can take advantage of. In the South, this is just backbreaking labor, in the cotton fields and in agricultural fields, right? So I was such bad work that they literally had to import, slaves to do it, because nobody in the United States, no low-wage worker in the United States would work on someone else's plantation when all they had to do was move a few miles west, right, and have their own farm, their own land, because our land was unoccupied, right, when the colonists came here. So that difference between the North and the South, in terms of the economy, has persisted, right? So we have unions, they tend to be in the North, and that means that manufacturers move their manufacturing to the South, which are so-called right-to-work states, which means that you can't have unions, or it's very hard to have unions. And so the South just has an economy that is more dependent on low-wage work. So they don't want their workers to be empowered. They will support, to a certain extent, benefits that go to workers once they're employed. We have this thing called the Earned Income Tax Credit, which is what we got instead of a guaranteed minimum income that President Nixon, a Republican president in 1969, proposed. One of the Southern senators who controlled an important committee in Congress got that, was responsible basically for blocking the what's called the Family Assistance Plan. And in place, he put this Earned Income Tax Credit, which is basically a subsidy for wages, a subsidy for low-wage work. And that's persisted now. So it's not that they won't, give any money to workers, is that it has to be on the basis of having a job. You have to have a job first, and then we'll support you. Because if we support you without having a job, you will move out from the South, or you will stay in the South, but you will refuse to do the terrible jobs for the low pay that we are giving you there, right? So, during the 1960s, when the Family Assistance Plan was being debated, the other thing that was going on was that, African Americans did all of the domestic work in the South, right? All of the care work, all of the cleaning, et cetera. In the North, women had already moved on to, what many women have now, which is, two jobs. There's the work outside the home and the work inside the home, and, the negotiation with male partners about splitting more of the work in the home. In the South, you had unemployed, wives, but they didn't do the work in the home either. They supervised the household help. And so the South has always been built on this economy of cheap labor, and so they don't want to give up cheap labor. That's my number one reason. Now, race, plays into that. Race has been used, I think, to divide the working class, so that the white working class thinks that any kind of unconditional benefits is disproportionately benefiting the Black working class, when in fact it would benefit them both. But that's my number one explanation. So partly it's, you want economic change to happen. You want the South to have a different kind of economy, so that it actually benefits from a higher quality workforce and is willing to invest in it as well.